Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com, here with your Hurricane Pro in HD video blog for Monday, the 19th day of June 2017. Let's jump right in and take a look at what's happening here. We have Invest Area 93L, and the overall odds of development have gone down just a little bit to 80%, still a high chance. And they mention where upper level winds are only marginally conducive for this to develop as it moves farther into the central Gulf, maybe affecting directly with any type of a center somewhere along this area. But the effects overall are covering a pretty wide swath of the Gulf, which we'll show you more of in just a moment. In the meantime, our potential tropical cyclone out here, which if it gets upgraded to tropical storm, it would be Brett, also down slightly to 80% chances for development. It's a fairly low latitude, 8.8 north at 57.8 west, so it's far to the south in terms of its latitude there, and very close to South America. In fact, if we look at the visible shot on the wide image here, the wide perspective, we see Invest Area 93 in the Gulf here, very large area. We'll get back to this in just a moment. And then our almost tropical storm down here approaching the Caribbean. It's really trying to get its act together here. These bands coming in, despite the upper level winds being somewhat unfavorable, especially right up through here, it seems to have found itself enough of a cocoon that this just might become Tropical Storm Brett before it enters the southeast Caribbean. If we look at a close-up, what we call the floater imagery, you can see that very well here. These bands trying to come in and feed this low-pressure area with as much energy as they can. This whole process trying to repeat itself over and over and reach its maximum potential on our planet. But there are inhibiting factors, and luckily it won't be able to do so. Typically, the strongest of our hurricanes and typhoons around 200 to 220 miles per hour. Those are the most intense we've ever seen. Luckily, this will be nowhere near that. But that's the process that's trying to happen here, is for this to reach its maximum potential. But considering the environment around it, stronger upper level winds nearby, the land mass, etc., and climatologically, it's June. This is not a favorite area. All that being said, this will be heading towards portions of the Windward Islands here and even the north coast of South America with squally conditions. Any of these thunderstorms that develop over your location will bring a quick burst of heavy rainfall and gusty winds perhaps, and that's already moving into portions of the southern Windward Islands this afternoon. In the meantime, a close-up look at the system in the Gulf. Very well disorganized is a good way to put it. It's very ill-developed and disorganized. You can see the low-pressure area in here, but all the heavy weather's over here off to the east. Strong upper-level winds coming around this way, keeping things separated for the most part. This is not able to bundle that energy and really become strong over the very warm waters of the Gulf. And we can see that here, those upper-level winds in the chart here from the University of Wisconsin site. Strong here, somewhat divergent flow over the system itself, or at least the east part of it, but these strong winds across it, again, keeping it separated from really building that convection over the center of circulation. And even down here in the Caribbean with the potential tropical storm, as they call it, upper level winds generally still favorable, all in the same direction as the system is moving, but just to the north of there, very strong. So if this gains much latitude, it's going to start feeling that more, and the thunderstorms will become separated from the low-level center. It probably has about another day until that begins to really happen. Looking at the vorticity signature, a great tool for understanding the health of our systems out here. Really elongated, as you can tell, in the Gulf, so this is not as healthy. But boy, this down here really tells the tale. A round ball of energy, of vorticity here. The spin in the atmosphere focused around that low pressure area, trying to, like I said, reach its maximum potential and doing what nature does. And as I said, luckily it won't have nearly the ingredients in place to do that, but it could still become a tropical storm. And if we look at the GFS model, this is the latest run from 12Z this morning, and I'm going to put this into motion for you. Watch what happens. Let me first point out what's what here. There's our system just coming into the frame the potential tropical cyclone down there. And notice, pretty good vorticity signature associated with it, while this is just amorphic and spread out and quite a mess. So let's put this into motion. This is over the next 4 days, and you can see a couple things happening here. Our system comes in to the Windward Islands, and it looks like it tries to pull itself together right before passing through, but then strong southerly winds, which we can't see here, will tear this apart, and it'll dissipate, maybe bringing some remnant moisture towards Jamaica over time, but and then that's what's left of it right there at day 4. Also, we can track what's happening with this elongated area of energy in the Gulf, and you notice here at about 24 hours it tries to pull itself together and focus that energy a little bit more. So maybe this bundles enough to become a tropical storm as well if this one down here, which we see in the beginning, gets named first right there. That would be Brett, and if this develops further enough, it would be called Cindy. But the impacts for this one up here along the Gulf Coast, let me tell you, a lot of heavy rain coming, some coastal impacts with a strong onshore flow. The potential of severe weather is certainly there as this moves your way. So don't discount this at all as being not a big deal. If you get 5 to 10 inches of rain from it, it's a big deal. So keep that in mind. Consult your local National Weather Service products as this heads your way. And just use common sense out there. Just because it's not a hurricane and not a classic, well-defined tropical storm doesn't mean that it lacks hazards. Believe me, they are there. And you can track a lot of that, as I mentioned. I want to keep mentioning this. Hurricane Pro in HD loaded with a lot of tools to track many of these same things even when you're not following the video update here. So take advantage of that. All right, well, that's it for me for today. I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com. That's my website. Check it out if you haven't already. And for Hurricane Pro in HD, always a privilege to be able to do these videos for you. And I'll be back throughout the week with more.